I got microchipped, and this is how you can change your life by becoming
A cyborg.
You see, my whole life I've had a problem that causes me an inordinate amount of stress, and that is keys. It sounds silly, but the feeling of rushing out the door, driving all the way to work before realizing I can't get in the garage because I forgot my keys or badge, and then having to drive all the way home to get them and then driving back to work is so embarrassing and unnecessary in a modern world where you can get your keys implanted in your hand. So that's what I did. So we're planting a microchip that has an NFC and RFID chip inside of it. Well, you want to open up that space where the chip is going to be inside, right?
So, yeah, with this,
with the
cable.
needle. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hey man, here we go. You want to watch? You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Still good. Look at that, man. You're a tough guy.
All right, skillfully done. These chips are not fundamentally different than the ones you put into your pets. When you put them up to a reader, it sends the chip a little drop of power, and then the chip sends back an ID number. An important thing to note here is that the chip does not store any personal data. In the case of pets, it just stores an ID number, and that ID number can be looked up in a database to find the information about the pet's owner. In the case of this chip, it stores an ID number, and the reader will check that ID number against the database to see if I have access. And no, you can't be tracked from a chip like this. Triangulation and position estimation from the GPS network requires a significant amount of power. And sending the signal anywhere after that would require an even greater amount of power, and these chips don't even have a battery at all. The reality is, depending on the receiver, they hardly even work from short distances. I got microchipped, and this... Dang. I got microchipped, and this is how to change your life by... I need to have my hand in contact with the device, and even then it has to be in a very specific orientation for it to work at all. So even if it did contain personal information, which it doesn't, it would be very difficult for anyone to access it without your explicit cooperation. House keys are much, much less secure than this. If anyone gets a hold of them, they can copy them. There's even been cases of people copying keys from photographs. Like in this paper where researchers at UCSD were able to copy a key from a 2-megapixel cell phone image captured on a Motorola A1200 from 2005. And even more concerning, they were able to copy a key using a camera mounted to a telescope from 200 feet away. So the chip in my hand certainly isn't 100% secure. Someone could cut my hand off and take it and copy it, but it's so much more secure than the common key. And if I ever move, the chip is infinitely reprogrammable. There are two ways to program the chip. One is enrollment, so if you own a lock, you can put your hand up to it and enroll your hand. Or you can go up to the front desk at your hotel or office building and ask them to scan your hand in the same way they would with a blank key, although they might not agree. However, you can also clone existing keys, with permission of course, which is easier and can be as simple as holding a flipper 0 or Proxmark up to the badge or key you want to copy, and then copying that key onto your chip. And if you're not ready to go full cyborg just yet, then you can also buy stickers with these chips inside of them that you can stick to phones or popsicle sticks or whatever. I used these stickers first for a few months before becoming a cyborg to make sure that these chips were really useful in my life, and they were. And there are many other types of chips. The one I have is just for access, but there are others that can process payments, open your Tesla, light up under your skin.
Has an LED inside. When presented to an RFID or NFC reader, the LED inside glows.
And open a web URL when an iPhone or Android touches them.
Walking up to someone, they've got their phone. I'm Jason, you know, we give him bloop.
There you go.
Oh, machine than man.
Tag opening YouTube.
Yeah.
I can't believe it, dude. I can't believe it.
And some people have more than one to combine all of these abilities. And that being said, people have chips for different reasons. For many, it's a form of self-expression. And to tell you about that, here's my cyborg friend, Anastasia.
Hello, my name's Anastasia. I'm a body hacker.
Oh, okay.
I had a very emotional relationship with my iPod when I was in middle school. I felt like it had a soul, and I felt deeply connected to it. I feel deeply connected to technology, and I feel happy knowing that technology can be a part of my body.
And so which implants do you have?
I have 4, I think. I have a RFID in here that you cannot see. You cannot see any of them. I have an NFC chip in my left hand. Combination LED and NFC chip in my right finger. It is mostly just a party trick to show people that I have a glowing light under my skin and my finger. And I have an NFC chip in my chest that is connected to a tattoo of mine. I designed a tarot deck, got a tattoo of one of the tarot cards, and if you scan it on the center of the card, it'll go to the website where you can get your own tarot reading. I'm gonna do all of that again, but with the hand.
Of course I do.
I don't have that many chips overall. People who are deep into the body hacking movement, they'll have a lot of chips and they'll treat a lot of them as temporary, so they will regularly remove them. A lot of people will get magnet implants as well. Those are very scary to remove. People really don't want to remove those, but you do have to. I wanted my chip removed by a hand surgeon for a while, and they told me that they wouldn't do it because I didn't have any mechanical damage or any sort of issue with my hand. I felt like, well, the chip doesn't scan very well, so obviously my hand function isn't as adequate as I'd like it to be. But because other people aren't cyborgs, they don't think of their hand function as including a scannable chip.
And what do other biohackers do? How do they get their chips removed?
Sometimes they do it themselves. I've considered doing it myself. You will usually just go to a body modification artist, or you'll find someone else in the community who has done it a few times, and you'll just ask them to help you out.
What do you think the coolest cybernetic body modification you've seen has been?
The coolest implant is going to be Neil Harbison's sensing tentacle out of his head. I mean, these aren't permanent, but like any project that Stellark has done, I got like a spider leg situation going on. But then a really big component of the body hacking community are going to be people who are hacking their own implants that they got from medical providers so that they don't have to pay insurance to keep using them. They don't want to have a subscription fee to have a functioning body.
And while I'm content with my access chip, I'm inspired by others who have pushed the boundaries in cybernetics, such as Neil Harbison, who installed an antenna in his head that allows him to feel the colors around him, including colors we can't see with our eyes, like ultraviolet.
Human vision wasn't good enough. There's many, many more colors around us that we cannot perceive, but the electronic eyes can perceive. So I added infrared and I added ultraviolet, so now I can hear colors that the human eye cannot perceive.
And Kevin Warwick, who has done many experiments in brain-computer interfaces that have allowed him to, for example, control a robotic arm with his own nervous system. And I know someone's going to be in the comments talking about how this is
the mark of the beast.
But that is completely silly because Revelations 13 clearly states,
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
And this chip is not in my right hand or in my forehead, it's in my left hand, so suck it, zealots. And overall, the chip has been a genuine lifesaver. I don't even notice it until it's time to use it. The chip doesn't just save me the stress of having forgotten my keys, but reduces the stress and friction of every morning routine because I never even have to think about them. And now that Apple Pay is becoming more common and I almost never forget my phone, I'm starting to feel so free. And for a limited time, you can support my content and get one of these beautifully embroidered Accutane hats I designed myself by signing up for my collaborator tier on Patreon. Low-dose Accutane saved my life, and this hat will turn more heads than perfectly clear skin. You will have other swag bags designed by me as time goes on and have access to a Discord to talk to me directly. Thank you. And you don't have to go to the world's best, most tasteful, and friendliest plastic surgeon to get this done. There is a whole network of piercing shops that will do it for you. If you're interested, I have links and a guide at avivacarter.com. I have no sponsorship here, just sharing something cool I've done with my body. Okay, bye.